Right now, somewhere in Flat Rock, Michigan, a 20-ton coil of raw steel is about to become the most iconic American muscle car ever built, and the transformation happens in just 20 hours. This is the factory where legends are born. Welcome back to the channel. If you've ever wondered how Ford takes flat sheets of cold metal and turns them into a roaring 500 horsepower beast that's been dominating American roads for over 60 years, you're about to find out. Today, we're going deep inside Ford's Flat Rock assembly plant, the home of the Mustang since 2005, where approximately 1,450 hourly workers build hundreds of these American icons every single day. We're talking about a factory that spans nearly 3 million square feet. That's bigger than 50 football fields combined. A place where over 1,000 robots work alongside skilled American workers. A facility that's pumped out more than 1 million Mustangs and counting. But here's what makes this story even more incredible. This plant has a history that's almost as wild as the car itself. So buckle up, because we're about to take a journey from raw steel to rubber-burning muscle. Section 1. The history. Before we dive into the factory floor, let me tell you why this plant matters so much to the Mustang legacy. For 40 years, from 1964 to 2004, the Mustang called the Dearborn Assembly Plant home. That's where the very first pre-production Mustangs rolled off the line in early 1964, with mass production officially starting on March 9th of that year. At its peak, Dearborn was churning out approximately 70 Mustangs per hour. Just think about that. More than one Mustang rolling off the line every single minute. The Mustang was an instant phenomenon. Ford expected to sell maybe 100,000 units in the first year. Instead, they sold over 400,000. Dealers were mobbed. People were placing orders before they even saw the car in person. It was automotive madness. The last Mustang ever built at Dearborn was a Redfire GT convertible that rolled off the line on May 10, 2004, marking the end of an era. Plant manager Rob Weber actually kept the last Mach 1 for himself? Can you blame him? But the Mustang needed a new home, and that's where Flat Rock comes in. Originally built in 1972 as Ford's Michigan Casting Center, this massive 2.9 million square foot facility has had quite a journey. It became a Mazda plant in 1987, producing the Mazda MX, 6 and 626. Then it transformed into a joint venture called Auto Alliance International in 1992, building both Mazdas and Ford Probes side by side. Ford took full control in 2012 and pumped $555 million into modernizing it with state-of-the-art robotics and flexible manufacturing technology. Today, Flat Rock sits on 400 acres and has built over 1 million Mustangs since the pony car arrived in late 2004. And on August 8, 2018, something historic happened here. The 10 millionth Mustang ever produced rolled off this very assembly line, a white GT convertible paying homage to the original 1964 model. Ford employees lined up to watch it happen. It was a celebration 54 years in the making. Section 2. The stamping department. Now let's get to the good stuff. How do you turn a giant roll of steel into a Mustang? It all starts in one of the loudest, most powerful departments in the entire facility. Unlike many assembly plants that receive pre-stamped parts from suppliers, Flat Rock has its own on-site stamping department, and this is a huge deal. It gives Ford complete control over quality from the very first step. About 150 team members, including maintenance crews, work in this department pressing massive steel coils into the body panels that give the Mustang its aggressive, iconic shape. The process begins with a 20-ton coil of steel. Think about that for a second. That's 40,000 pounds of raw metal that's about to be transformed into hoods, doors, fenders, roof panels, and trunk lids. The steel comes in several different types depending on where it'll be used on the vehicle. You can actually see the difference by the appearance of various parts. Some areas need high-strength steel for crash protection, while others use more malleable steel for complex curves. The steel is first uncoiled and cut into blanks, single sheets sized perfectly for the presses. Then comes the magic. Giant machines called transfer presses use die sets to stamp the flat metal into complex curved shapes through a process called progressive forming. A single blank might go through upward of 7 impressions to achieve that perfect Mustang contour, each press applying thousands of pounds of force to shape the metal precisely. The stamping shop uses 5 modern transfer presses, and the die sets can be changed out quickly to make different parts. This flexibility is crucial because Flat Rock produces multiple Mustang variants, from the EcoBoost to the GT to the track-ready Dark Horse. Each variant has slightly different body requirements, and the stamping department handles them all. But here's where things get really interesting. Stamping is just the beginning. These raw panels are about to meet over 1,000 robots. Section 3. The Body Shop. The body shop is where the Mustang really starts to take shape, and it's also the most automated department in the entire plant. We're talking over 1,000 robots working in perfect synchronization to weld, position parts, and apply adhesive to hundreds of different components. It's like watching a perfectly choreographed dance, except the dancers weigh several tons and shoot sparks. In 2013, Ford invested that $555 million specifically to upgrade this department with flexible body shop technology. This means the same line can build a Mustang coupe, a convertible, or any other variant without having to change the tooling. The robots are computer programmed to know exactly what car they're working on and make the appropriate welds. A coupe comes down the line, the robots adjust. A convertible follows right behind, they adjust again, seamlessly. And these robots are fast. The new equipment gives the body shop the capacity to produce more than 70 units per hour. Each body receives approximately 6,000 welds, and here's the mind-blowing part. Every single weld is monitored in real time. The robots self-diagnose each weld based on the electrical current used, so they know immediately if they made a good connection or not. If something's off, the system flags it instantly. Workers use what they call a stone test, brushing a stone across the outer sheet metal to check for any dirt or slight contortions along the surface. It's an old-school technique that still works better than any machine for detecting surface imperfections. If a part clears the quality check, it moves further up the line. The robots also apply structural adhesive to key areas, adding extra rigidity to the body structure. This combination of welding and bonding creates a body shell that's incredibly strong yet lightweight, essential for both performance and fuel efficiency. But before this bare metal body can become a Mustang, it needs protection and color. That's where one of Ford's most advanced paint technologies comes into play. Section 4. Paint Operations. Flat Rock uses what Ford calls the 3-wet paint process, one of the most modern painting systems in Ford's portfolio of plants. And it's actually pretty revolutionary when you understand what it replaced. Here's how traditional painting works. You apply primer, put the car in an oven to cure it, then apply the base coat, cure it again, then apply the clear coat and cure it one more time. 3 applications, 3 separate oven cycles. It works, but it's slow and energy intensive. The 3-wet process flips that approach. It applies 3 layers: primer, base coat, and clear coat, one right after the other while each layer is still wet. All 3 layers cure together in a single oven cycle. This eliminates a standalone primer application and multiple drying ovens. Why does this matter? It's faster, reducing production time by up to 25%. It's better for the environment, cutting CO2 emissions by 15 to 25% and reducing volatile organic compounds by 10%. And most importantly, it produces a higher quality finish with better durability and chip resistance. The layers actually bond together more effectively when they cure simultaneously. The advanced chemical mixture allows the paint layers to cure properly without betraying the purpose of any layer. The paints are formulated with high solids content to minimize solvents, resulting in a more concentrated pigment and resin mixture that delivers richer, deeper colors. Before the paint process, the bare metal body gets dipped into a special anti-corrosion solution called E-coat. This protects the metal from rust and helps the paint adhere better. The body is literally submerged and electrical current is applied to ensure the coating reaches every nook and cranny. Robotic spray systems then apply the paint with incredible precision and consistency, ensuring even coverage across every curve and contour. After the painted body emerges, looking showroom ready, something unusual happens. Something most car factories don't do. Get ready for the marriage of engine and body. Section 5. Chassis Assembly, the decking process. This is my favorite part of the entire process, what Ford calls decking. And Flat Rock does it differently than almost every other assembly plant in the world. Most factories lower the car body down onto the engine, transmission, and axle. It's the traditional approach. Gravity does most of the work, but at Flat Rock, they do it in reverse. The engine merges upward into the vehicle's body as it hangs from above. The body is suspended on an overhead conveyor while the powertrain rises up on a platform to meet it. It's like watching a slow-motion docking sequence from a sci-fi movie. The front suspension, transmission, and engine are all installed as a single unit, what engineers call a cradle. Meanwhile, the rear suspension is installed separately. This marriage of engine and body is one of the most critical moments in the assembly process, when a collection of parts transforms into a complete vehicle. Workers carefully guide the components together, ensuring perfect alignment before the bolts are tightened. Before this happens, there's a unique feature on the assembly line. The vehicles can tilt. The body rotates on its carrier, angling to give workers easier access to the underbody. This makes it more ergonomically friendly to install fuel systems, brake lines, exhaust components, and various chassis parts. Workers aren't lying on their backs or reaching overhead. The car comes to them at the optimal angle. The Mustang lineup offers serious powertrain options. The base EcoBoost features a turbocharged 2.3-liter four-cylinder, producing 315 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. Don't let the four-cylinder fool you. This thing moves. Step up to the GT and you get Ford's legendary 5.0-liter Coyote V8 with 480 horsepower and 415 pound-feet. That signature V8 rumble? This is where it gets installed. But the beast of the lineup, the dark horse. That 5.0-liter V8 gets cranked up to 500 horsepower with a stronger crankshaft, new camshafts, and forged connecting rods borrowed from the Shelby GT500. It's the most powerful, naturally aspirated 5.0-liter V8 Ford has ever sold to the public. Section 6. Interior Installation. With the muscle in place, it's time to make this thing livable. And the interior installation is where you really start to see a Mustang coming to life. Remember those doors that were attached before painting? They actually get removed here to give workers full access to the interior. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But it's brilliant. The doors travel on a separate parallel line where all the mechanisms, handles, window motors, speakers, mirrors, and trim get installed. Then those same doors go back on that same car at the end of the process. The system tracks which doors belong to which car, and they reunite perfectly. No adjustments required. Just bolt them down and go. A manipulator arm, essentially a heavy-duty robotic assistant, helps workers lift and install the entire front dashboard into the car as a single unit. This dashboard module includes the instrument cluster, HVAC system, wiring harnesses, and airbags all pre-assembled. This makes the job faster, safer, and more precise than installing each component individually. Seats arrive in sequence, already matched to each specific vehicle's build order. If customer number 47 ordered red leather Recaros, those exact seats show up at station 47. They're installed along with the electronics, sound insulation, center console, and all the trim pieces. Modern Mustangs feature impressive tech, from the 12.4-inch fully configurable LCD digital cluster to the available B&O sound system with 12 speakers and a subwoofer that delivers 900 watts of premium audio. The GT350, which was built here until 2020, had unique fender covers because of its different fender shape to accommodate the distinctive fender vents. Every variant has its own specific installation requirements programmed into the production sequence. The system knows exactly what goes where. Section 7. Quality Testing. Now here's where Ford separates itself from the competition. Before any Mustang leaves this factory, it goes through over 5,000 quality checks. 5,000. That's not a typo, and it's not just a checklist someone glances at. These are actual inspections, tests, and verifications at every stage of production. The quality process starts with a vision system that checks every car for all trim attributes, correct wheels, correct badging, correct specs, and compares it against a video library for that specific vehicle configuration. Ordered the performance package with Brembo brakes? The system confirms they're actually installed before the car moves forward. Once the car is fully assembled, it gets driven off the line for front-end alignment and headlight alignment. Then comes one of the coolest tests, the water leak simulation. Ever wonder if your Mustang can handle a Michigan thunderstorm? Ford makes absolutely sure of it. The soak test subjects each vehicle to a simulated rain environment. We're talking about a 5-minute downpour designed to replicate intense rainfall conditions you might encounter during a summer storm. Water hits the car from varying pressures and angles, from directly overhead, from the sides, even angled upward from below. Technicians watch through windows and check inside for any sign of water penetrating the interior. If any leak is detected, even a single drop, the root cause is found, sealing components are repaired, and the car goes through the entire test again. After the water test, the cars proceed to the customer acceptance line for final inspection, and this is where bright lighting becomes absolutely critical. Light tunnels, some using advanced LED technology with specific color temperatures, illuminate every inch of the painted surface. The interaction between the car's movement and the strategically positioned lights creates contrasting patterns that make even the smallest paint imperfections visible to the human eye. We're talking about defects smaller than a grain of sand. Trained inspectors positioned on both sides can scan defined surface areas, spotting any superficial dust pockets, orange peel texture, or blemishes that would be invisible in normal lighting. Any minor imperfections get polished out while the car is still in motion on the line. More serious issues get the vehicle redirected to a standalone repair station where specialists address the problem before the car continues. There's also brake testing on dynamometer rollers, where the wheels actually spin at speed while the car remains stationary. Technicians verify braking performance meets exact specifications. Every button, switch, and control gets pressed, poked, clicked, and pulled. Inspectors run their hands across every surface to check for panel alignment, gap consistency, and tactile imperfections. They're literally feeling for quality. Section 8. Production numbers. So how many Mustangs actually come out of this factory? The answer might surprise you. Flat Rock has the capacity to produce up to 240,000 vehicles annually when running at full tilt. In practice, Ford builds hundreds of Mustangs daily depending on market demand and the mix of trim levels. In August 2024, Ford produced 5,659 Mustangs, and September followed with 5,663 units, roughly 270 cars per working day. The entire process, from that first sheet of steel entering the stamping press to a finished, road-ready Mustang driving off the line, takes approximately 20 to 24 hours. That's less than a day to transform raw materials into an American icon. The factory operates multiple shifts, often running around the clock to keep production rolling smoothly and meet customer demand. Currently, the plant employs approximately 1,450 hourly workers represented by UAW Local 3000, plus around 140 salaried employees handling engineering, management, and administrative functions. These are the men and women who hand-build every Mustang that hits American roads, and they take enormous pride in their work. Production of the 7th generation S650 Mustang began on May 1st, 2023. This latest generation includes the EcoBoost, EcoBoost Premium, GT, GT Premium, and the all-new Dark Horse, a track-focused variant with 500 horsepower and a Tremec 6-speed manual transmission designed to handle serious abuse. For the ultimate Mustang experience, there's even the GTD, Ford's Halo supercar. It starts at Flat Rock and gets assembled to body and white stage before being shipped to Multimatic's specialized facility in Ontario for final transformation. There, it receives carbon ceramic Brembo brakes, pushrod suspension with adaptive spool valve dampers, and extensive carbon fiber bodywork. The GTD starts at $325,000, and it's worth every penny. Section 9. The legacy continues. Here's what really gets me about this whole process. After 60 years and 10 million cars, Ford is still refining it, still improving, still pushing the Mustang forward. The Mustang has been the best-selling sports coupe worldwide for 3 consecutive years and America's best-selling sports car for the last 50 years. It's not even close. This car dominates its segment like no other vehicle in automotive history. It's exported to over 140 countries around the globe, including right-hand drive versions for the UK, Japan, Australia, and South Africa. The Mustang has truly become a global icon, but it's still built right here in America by American workers in a Michigan factory that's been making cars for over 50 years. When you see a Mustang on the road, you're looking at the result of thousands of hours of engineering, over 1,000 robots working in perfect harmony, 150 stamping specialists transforming raw steel, and 5,000 plus quality checks ensuring perfection. You're looking at American manufacturing at its absolute finest. The original 1964 Mustang was supposed to sell 100,000 units in its first year. Ford sold over 400,000, 4 times their projection. The very first Mustang was accidentally sold 2 days early in Newfoundland, Canada, to a schoolteacher named Gail Wise. Ford actually tried to buy it back, but she refused. Smart woman, that car is now worth a fortune. These are the kinds of stories that make this car more than just transportation. It's American culture on 4 wheels. It's Steve McQueen in Bullitt. It's every high school kid who ever dreamed of their first muscle car. It's 60 years of freedom, power, and the open road. So let me ask you this. If you could watch any car being built from start to finish, which one would it be? A Corvette at Bowling Green? A Tesla at Fremont? Maybe something European like a Porsche or Ferrari? Drop your answer in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to hear what factory tours you'd want to see next. Your suggestions might just become our next video. If this video gave you a new appreciation for the engineering and craftsmanship behind American muscle, smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow and tells YouTube to show this to more car enthusiasts like you. And if you're new here and you love deep dives into how incredible things get made, hit subscribe and tap that notification bell so you don't miss our next factory tour. Share this with any Mustang owner you know. They're going to want to see exactly how their car was born. Tag them in the comments or send them the link directly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.